Hi, I'm Bernsey, and on this week's episode of Van Haven TV, we are going to be taking a deep dive into possibly the most important decision that you will make when commissioning us to build you a bespoke transporter. And that is, which is the right seating configuration for me? So there tend to be 4 different seating options for the transporter. The first of which is a panel van, which has seats in the cab area, normally 2 like this or 3. We can swap out the passenger seat for a double bench. The second is that of a Kombi, which we have here, that I'll show you in a little more detail later. We also have a Caravelle seating layout, which can seat up to 7 or sometimes 8 people, and also the Shuttle, which is a 9-seater configuration. All of these seating layouts are VW factory, so you could go to a dealer and specify from new any which of those seating configurations. But here at Van Haven, we give you the exact same choice. We use genuine VW seat fittings, rails, and all the structural supports that can turn the humble panel van into any seating configuration you need. So let's take a closer look at those different configurations, and let me show you why you may prefer one over another. So all of our stock vans, of which we have around 90, delivery mileage T6.1s, in various guises, long wheelbase, short wheelbase, 150, 200 horsepower, or we have got a couple long wheelbase 4Motions available too, are all panel vans from factory. And the reason why we opt to top spec panel vans is that they retain their commercial efficiency. So they all have a ton payload. But we respect that not everyone wants to drive about in a panel van, hence why we offer the range of seating configurations that we do. This Kombi normally has 2 seats at the front and 3 seats in the middle. Now, there are a varying amount of rear seat configurations. These seats here are what we call a 1+1+1, being that they are 3 independent seats. We actually take these featured in the factory VW Shuttle. And the reason why we love them is that it offers a really flexible use of space in that you can eject any one or all of the seats. Having removable seats in general in a van is incredibly useful. Not everyone wants to carry people all of the time. There may be an instance where you have to carry maybe a ton worth of goods, or you need to help a neighbour move house, whatever. But this 1+1 is our preferred layout. They also do a 2+1, which has a 2-seater bench here, and retains this single, and they do a 3-seater, which is one massive bench, which is possibly the most cost-effective seats to have in the Kombi. However, it is a little bit heavy and can be a bit of a pain to move on your own, hence why these are a lot more manageable, and me, not being the biggest dude in the world, can quite easily lift all of these seats out in about 2 to 3 minutes flat. So these Kombi seats are fixed to the floor of the van, which gives a load of free real estate in the back of the vehicle for activities, storage and stowage of stuff. So as a converter, this is wicked news for us because we can offer a whole array of stuff for the back of your van dependent on how you're going to be using it. This particular van has a really cool Kombi system with a mega mattress, and underneath that has a really cool pull-out kitchen unit. We'll post a link to another video that we previously did on this van showing you how that works. But for someone who wants to have a lot more space in the back of the van, the Kombi setup is brilliant, and like I said, all the seats in the back here can be removed if you need more space. The third seating option is the Shuttle, which unfortunately I haven't got here today to show you, but imagine essentially a Kombi with 3 individual seats, extra glazing here, and then a 3-seater bench in the rear. It's important that you have to have a 3-seater bench so as the seat can clear the wheel arches in the back. And the reason why the 1+1+1 is really useful is because the seats on either side, normally we build those in a van with twin sliding doors, can swing forward, allowing access to the rear seat, like so. And the fourth and final VW seat configuration is my personal favourite. The Caravelle layout. We've done lots of videos of these. I am a huge fan, and the reason why I love the Caravelle so much is really the comfort and the flexibility of this seat system. So, the factory system comes with 2 single captain seats that can both swivel and a rear bench here, which is all on rails. So we fit the 4-rail system throughout the van. So there are lots of anchor points. You can also add this little table, which is really cool. And the beauty of it is that it can all fold down to create a bed, but at the same time, it can create a far more social space, which if you're traveling with friends to different events or with family, and you want to have a proper conversation rather than sat next to them craning your neck, this is absolutely ideal. We've used these seats not just in transporters, but in some bespoke crafter builds, and they're just incredibly comfortable. But from the point of a converter, the rail system also allows us to come up with really kind of innovative and bespoke storage solutions. We've built a number of sleds, for example, with any number of golf bag carrying equipment, fishing gear, and even we've been able to sort of secure fridge boxes, cooler boxes, bikes, all that kind of stuff. So yes, that is the Caravelle. Now, due to the nature of the rails, we can actually swap out the seat systems. We're very fortunate in that we have got a fairly large stock of Caravelle seats, which of course are now discontinued from VW. But we have built vehicles in the past that have swapped out, say, the rear bench for another 2 single seats. You have 4 single seats that can all move up and down the rails, and just gives you a load more real estate for sort of moving, entering, and walking around the van. So if you're looking at maybe more of like a kind of like a VIP experience to carrying passengers, that would certainly be recommended. And my dear friend and colleague Jordan recently built a long wheelbase Caravelle with 2 benches that faced together. Ricky had real fun making that one work, but again, a really novel layout using all genuine VW stuff to do the job that the client wanted. So here we are in the Caravelle. So we've gone for the factory layout in this particular model, which I believe is a client's build. It is very nice in here. I see that we fitted the halo lighting for a bit of extra mood, bit of extra ambience. But we already feel, sat in the back of this, that there is far more light. It's a lot more of an area space. I have got more legroom. The clients opted to have these blinds, which are wicked. So you can either have naps if it's really sunny outside, or particularly if you're doing work and don't want glare through a window on your laptop, it's really useful. So I think it'd be really cool to take this out for a bit of a spin. We'll get Max to drive around, and I'll show you how I use a Caravelle and why this layout may suit you. So here we are in the back of a Caravelle. Ample legroom, put the rear bench all the way back. And for anyone who asks in the comments, and I know someone's going to ask, maximum legroom here is about 46 centimeters, so an awful lot more than the Kombi seating. I would normally, when hanging out in the back of these vans, particularly on the bench, probably put my feet up on the other seat. I of course won't, as this is a client's van. But this build has been incredibly well equipped, particularly for working on the road. So I've got my laptop set up here, I'm HDMI'd into the little port in the side. I've got my supplementary screen, so I can actually effectively operate off of 2 screens. And it's beautifully quiet back here. So it's an immense place to do some work when traveling in between places. And even if you haven't got a Max to drive you about of a lunchtime, it's really good for even meetings, on-site meetings. You can use this for business, but even for socializing, hanging out with the family, kids, etc. It is a wicked seating setup. even on an incredibly rainy day. You can hang out in here, maybe watch a movie, crack on with some work. This particular van is armed with these really cool window pods from Van Shades. So if the sun is coming through and glaring off my laptop monitor, I can easily close that down. Similarly, if I wanted a bit of a nap between meetings or along the way, it's really nice and comfortable to be able to do so.
Yep.
And if you feel so inclined for a change of scenery, nothing beats the novelty of driving backwards. Gives you far better views out of the side, particularly with all of this glazing. We're flooded with light, lots to peer out and have a look at. And we use privacy tints in a lot of the glazing, particularly in the Caravelles, so that no one can catch you peeking. Still, loads of legroom and weirdly, lots of storage as well. So people don't often know that these single Caravelle seats have got little drawers, which are really useful. Snacks, remote controls, and similarly, the table units just under the middle here. We've got loads of headphones, which are wireless and linked to the entertainment system. This screen can also broadcast audio through the van's sound system. But sometimes if the kids are watching Minions and you don't want to listen to it, you can give them the headphones and keep them entertained for miles. And if you don't want to drive in conference mode with the seats facing each other, you can swivel these guys around so they're forward facing, which is just another way of driving really, and they all lock into position and are super safe. So here we are, out on the open road in a Kombi. Obviously fairly restricted as to where you can sit, but the seats are incredibly comfortable, particularly after they've been through our trim shop and received the benefit of all the Van Haven leather loveliness. Max is driving. Max, how tall are you?
6'5".
6'5", tall dude. Let's check the legroom. 32 centimetres, so a little bit less than the Caravelle, but I'm 5'10", and lanky, and I have plenty of room for my legs. Kids are going to be very, very happy back here. I miss my Caravelle table, but we can still build in all the inverters, HDMIs, and also the screen if you did want to use those features with a Kombi too. Huge perk with the 1+1+1 is that you can actually fold down the middle seat here. So if you have kids who fight or squabble and you want to break them up, this can be very, very useful, but it can also be used as like a little flat space for board games and the like, which is a really cool feature. So the Kombi is an ideal setup for most families. Obviously, if you require more seats, then look for a Caravelle or a Shuttle. However, there are other seat systems available on the market. For example, this is the brand new Skybed, which features in our Shillingstone camper van. This vehicle is currently under construction for the Mike. But essentially this is a bed bench system. It's available in, it's just under 1200 millimeters, and it's on these rails that are mounted into the floor that go up and down and can be set in a number of different spaces. But there's also this bed system. It's a rib bed, really cool seats, really comfortable. We often use these in camper vans as you can get different sizes to go along with different widths of cabinetry. We are loving the Stide at the moment just because it offers a little more in the way of headroom, because these can sit a little bit higher. But both are fantastic units and great if you're looking at adding cabinetry or carpentry to your van. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope this week's video has helped you somewhat in choosing your seating configuration for your bespoke transporter. As ever, if you have any questions, queries, or just want some advice, do pick up the phone to us. We would be delighted to hear from you. Goodbye.